For someone like me, vulnerability isn't second nature. It's uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar, and to be totally transparent, it's extremely high risk. That's what it feels like the most. It feels extremely high risk. If you've ever felt safer keeping things to yourself or know someone that does, this video is for you. Family, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I'm Eleanor and this is Dismissible Me, where I speak only about dismissive avoidant attachment from the perspective of someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know where you are watching from, and be sure to check out the playlist. Find me on Instagram where I'm most active. All of my information is down below in the description box. And getting right into today's video, why vulnerability feels unsafe for me as someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style. I have several reasons here, but the number one reason, and the thing that I'm going to start with first, is vulnerability feels like giving away control. Like on many different levels, it feels like I'm giving a lot of myself away. It feels like I'm doing too much too soon. It feels like I'm giving someone that I may not know, or I'm still on the fence about, not sure about the long-term future of something. And I'm giving them information that they could twist or use against me. You know, it just feels like a lot. So for me, that's the number one reason why I'm very slow to open up or to get close to someone, not just emotionally but like physically also. It's like it's just a lot. It's giving away a lot of power. It's giving away a lot of me to tell you about me or to get close to you in a particular way. So that's why it feels unsafe. And because I'm used to unsafe people or people who didn't know how to respect my boundaries or respect my information, or they just decided it was in their best interest to mishandle me, it doesn't feel safe to be vulnerable. Another reason vulnerability feels unsafe for me is it feels like a threat to my independence, and my independence and autonomy is something that comes up in almost every single video. But for me, that vulnerability, and again, giving so much of myself away and giving up that control, it also, that closeness also equates to me as, it can feel like losing myself, but it can also feel like feeling trapped in a situation, right? So like, okay, now I've shared this with this person, or even before that. So let's take a step back. If I share this with this person, then they know this about me. And if it doesn't work out, then it's just out there. And I really don't like that either. So it threatens my independence. It threatens, it really just threatens my personal safety. Like, do I trust this person enough to be vulnerable with them and get close to them in many different ways? So it's not, like I said in the beginning, it just feels very high risk. Like, you definitely need to think 2, 3, 4 times before you do that, or 2, 3, 4 times before you reveal that and tell that person that kind of thing. Another reason vulnerability feels unsafe is sharing my feelings or what's going on hasn't been safe. And I kind of mentioned that briefly just a moment ago, is sharing my feelings or sharing what's going on and thinking that whatever it was that I was sharing or saying was going to stay between me and that person, and it didn't, over and over and over and over again. You could just, if you tell certain people certain things, they're just going to run it all through the city with it and go crazy. That's exactly why. So because of that, I just don't do it. I just don't do it. It's not a thing. there are certain aspects of my life that are just off limits. I'm just not sharing it with anybody. So, you know, when people abuse the privilege of your vulnerability, like, it's just, how do I want to put it? It's just really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate for them because they never get to experience you in that same way. And then it's really unfortunate for the person that it's happening to because, you really have to work through that, like whether or not you're going to still continue to open up to other people that are showing you and have proven that, they're safe, or do you just keep yourself in this box because it makes more sense and it's safer and it's just easier, you know? So, vulnerability feels like giving away control. Vulnerability threatens my independence. Sharing my feelings isn't safe and has led to disappointment in the past. And then there's also the fear of being misunderstood. So then I am vulnerable. Then I do say what I'm feeling and what's going on and what's on my mind and what I'm thinking, right? And then it's flipped, or it's misinterpreted, or that person is now using what I said against me. I want to avoid any and all of that. I feel like all that's unnecessary. And for me, if there's certain things that I just don't do or don't talk about, those are things that I really don't have to worry about unless they were to find these things out through other people, which I guess is another reason why I keep people very separate and that things are compartmentalized. But for me, you don't need to know until you need to know, kind of thing. Like if it doesn't directly affect me and you, it's not for me to tell to you. And that's just the mentality, that's just the mindset. If it's not directly affecting you, like if I can't A to B correlate it to you, then it's not your business. And I don't know a softer way to say that. Like if it's not about you and doesn't have anything to do with you, then I'm not going to tell it to you. And even if it has to do with the relationship and feelings and what's going on between me and you, there's certain, I don't want to say there's certain limits, but there's definitely certain limits to what I will say. And I've already spoken about that in a million videos as well. But like for me, I would rather not be vulnerable in my words, but I would show you through my actions that I care about you, or I will show you through my actions that I am going to show up for you and things like that. Another reason vulnerability feels unsafe for me is, for me, vulnerability feels like I'm inviting a level of intimacy or levels of intimacy that I'm not ready for. So just because I'm being vulnerable in this moment doesn't necessarily mean that I want to continue to operate on the same level of vulnerability. It doesn't mean that I want to talk about this frequent or often. And it definitely doesn't mean that I want to revisit this subject again or have you bring it up again. I also don't want to be vulnerable with you and have you thinking that because I shared this with you, that we are moving in a certain direction when I'm not sure where that direction is going. Or if I know for a fact where this is going and it's not moving forward with you, then there's no reason for me to be vulnerable. Because I understand that this is temporary. And so it's always going to remain surface level. I'll just be totally transparent about that. There's certain things that I don't have a problem with sharing, but there's always like, okay, there's the limit. There's the lid. And then I'm all out of what I would categorize as surface level vulnerable stories or things to share, story times, show and tells, right? But once we get past that, there's a certain level that I just won't go. Forgive me for my long pause, but I'm like, I want to describe that, but I feel like maybe I'm just going down an unnecessary rabbit hole with talking about like the surface level vulnerabilities versus deeper level things. But I don't know. I guess if you want to hear about that, let me know down in the comment section. But yeah, being vulnerable invites a level of intimacy that I'm not ready for. And if I know I'm not ready for it or any levels, then I just won't go there. Then I just won't share certain things. Like I'll keep it in the surface level story times for school, and won't go any further than that. Another reason vulnerability, feels unsafe for me is I worry that what I share with you, I'll regret that I shared it with you later. And then kind of going back to being disappointed previously and feeling like it's giving away a lot of control. That kind of ties into that. But I worry that what it is that I'm doing with you or what it is that I'm saying with you is, again, it really is a major fear that you're going to use it against me or do something crazy, or you're going to get familiar with me. And then when it's time for me to go, when it's time for you to go, you're going to know too much about me. And it's not going to be easy for me to detach or cut you off or stop talking to you. I don't like that. So for me to avoid regretting things later, I'll just not even go there to start with. And the last thing on my list, on my reasons for this video, because I could go on and on and on, really, on why vulnerability feels unsafe for me, is I associate vulnerability with weakness. Vulnerability, needing to lean on somebody, asking for, not necessarily asking for help, certain levels of asking for help for sure, but not all, just feels like weakness. Just feels like weakness, just feels like I can't handle certain things, just feels like I'm not able to do basic things as an adult. And that makes me uncomfortable because I really value being self-sufficient. I really value being able to do things on my own. And it's not that I don't want help. Like I really appreciate when somebody takes things off my shoulders and does something for me, but I don't feel like I want to just have to ask for everything all the time. And it's not just about feeling weak. It's also about becoming a burden onto others. And I strongly dislike that too, because just as much as I hate to feel like somebody else's personal needs are a burden on me, I super despise the idea that I am being equally as needy to somebody else. So just to summarize everything that I just stated previously, why vulnerability feels unsafe for me as someone with a dismissive avoidant attachment style. Vulnerability feels unsafe because it feels like giving away control. Vulnerability feels unsafe because it feels like it threatens my independence. Closeness to me equals losing myself or being smothered, feeling trapped. Another reason, is sharing my feelings isn't safe. Fear of being misunderstood. Vulnerability invites intimacy I'm not ready for. I worry that I will regret being open and vulnerable with you later. And I associate vulnerability with weakness. I want to thank you very much for watching and tapping in. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. Check the playlist. Find me on Instagram. Subscribe to my other channel. All the links are going to be down below in the description box in my About section. And family, I will be tapping in with you very soon. Keep it real.